So we're here this evening in Llandudno, where inside Venue Cymru there's a debate going on about the future of the North Beach of Llandudno. With lots of councillors and also lots of members of the public that disagree with what's happening, it's sure to be a very, very heated debate. So let's go and have a look what's going on inside.
Why don't the people who you employ and you elect listen? Can you honestly tell me that's shingle? Can you? It's not. It's the contents of a quarry. That is not shingle. That means the Conwy County Borough Council and their contractors are in breach. Now, this allowed them to do it. This allowed the council to get the money to destroy the beach. Item 10. Please detail below all consents you have applied for or received. 1. Local Planning Authority. No. Landowners such as Crown Estates, Mostyn Estates, whoever it may be, no. Local Port or Harbour Authority such as Local Work Licence. I sat in a meeting a few weeks ago at Town Council with Councillor Gregg, and they're already talking about finding another £20,000 to £40,000 of your money that you work hard for, to pay for a feasibility study to work out how to make wrong what they continue to make wrong as we're sitting in a meeting. Is it me? And it has to go now. It has to be sorted now. Your attendance here tonight, for me, is the council's mandate. They've been looking for a mandate to solve this problem that they brought on themselves. You've got the message, yeah? Yes. We're together on this. Yes.
So it is a fact, Llandudno is at flood risk. Added to that, we know that within the next 18 months, we will get 7 out of 10 of the highest tides that will occur within a 20-year period. I remember visiting an old man in a bungalow who had been flooded out. He'd lost his wife some weeks before. And I remember him to this day because his life was over. He'd lost everything in that bungalow. All he wanted was his photographs. And I vowed at that time in 1990 that I would do everything in my power to protect communities from tidal flooding because it is devastating. It's catastrophic. And when there's a breach, it happens so quickly. And the risk is loss of life. So I'm passionate too. I'm passionate about protecting this town. And that's what I've done this year. I've done that. Here are the spikes coming up now. And what you'll see is already into this storm, there's twice as much water that's actually got over those defences. So that is the science, that is the fact. And you don't have to believe the modelling. I mean, it's not my model, but it's a model that I've been loaned from another area who's undertaking exactly the same type of work. But I think it demonstrates quite clearly the significance of the shingle bank. This is a video that was taken in 2000 when we were constructing originally the first defences. And what we come across is a shingle bank, nice and dry as you can see at the bottom of that video clip. Once you've taken that decision to put in a nourished beach, then you have to re-nourish it when the nourishment disappears. That's what we have done over the past few months. If we want to change the beach management within Llandudno, then that's possible. But nobody is going to do it on a whim. Nobody is going to pump in millions of pounds worth of sand to see it disappear overnight. Colwyn Bay took 10 years. So this thing will take time. But we need to be clear what the economic benefits are, what the benefits to tourism are, what the mutual benefits across the area are, including the flood defences. Now, I'm pretty positive. I think there's an opportunity here. And I think there's an opportunity because we've been successful. We've done it before, and we could do it again. But it's not going to be easy. There's a question about the grading of the shingle, that it's too coarse. These are the tests. This is one example of the test result that we took. So we are testing the material to make sure that it stays within the grading specification. This is the same specification that was used in 2000, the original scheme, and has been used every year that we've imported shingle onto North Shore. No change. So these rocks should not be any bigger.
Open your eyes. And one thing that's become very clear to me tonight is that I now firmly believe the officers of the council have acted in good faith on behalf of this community in protecting it from long-term flooding and damage. Every environmental agency in Great Britain is now warning this country of increased storm levels, tidal levels, flood damage and erosion of our coastline. Every area of coastline in this country is under threat. At last, we've done something about it. Many thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards, for speaking. You're a very brave man coming tonight, and I myself was an engineer, and I think you've done the right thing. Engineering-wise, whether it is cost-effective, I suspect it is. I think you've acted out of panic and done the right thing.
But don't you think that our kids, they need jobs, and if tourists don't come here, hotels will shut. Can you answer that? You know, if the hotels do shut, because I've heard it of people, I know people that own hotels, tourists are saying how awful it looks. If they don't come, well, we've had it.
Yes, tourism is very important. Here in Llandudno we have over 2.6 million visitors coming into the town, which is worth over £203 million to the economy. So if you don't think we're going to take tourism seriously, which includes coastal protection, which is clearly about protecting the tourism businesses here within the town, then clearly that is an area where we are going to disagree on. And can I just say, in terms of something that was said earlier, in terms of that we've got the disaster, I think it was Ian Turner that said that, we've got the disaster of North Shore. Well, I'd suggest to you there'd be a much bigger disaster if the businesses and residences of this town were actually flooded, and that's exactly what Geraint, the team and this council are rightly doing in terms of emergency works.
You have denied me and my fellow servicemen and women, both blind, visually impaired and immobile in wheelchairs, access to North Shore.
Is there a possibility for you to appease everybody by replenishing part of the beach at the bottom where there is less erosion with more sand and gravel like people want, and as well as keeping the shingle to protect the rest of the beach?
Obviously, listening to everybody here, there are different views. In terms of replenishing a sand beach, I think that's a potential option. It's a piece of work that we would have to undertake, but I think that is a potential option for the area that you've described.
So I'm asking you now, these good people want a feasibility study. Can we have a promise that there will be a considered feasibility study? Independent. And
stakeholder consultant.
Well, of course. And before any works ever, however large or however small, happen, not just in this town, but in any town that you're responsible for, certainly within my constituency.
Janet, you will know full well that I cannot promise that on my own back now. No, please. What would your views say here if I promised to spend money just off my own back in other communities? You would like it, but that's not what... Can I just finish?
Please let him finish.
What I can do is ask for a report to come through scrutiny and to Cabinet to consider that, and a decision will be made on it. I cannot promise any more than that. I would be irresponsible if I did, and Janet knows that full well.
So, as we suspected, that turned out to be a very heated debate, with loads and loads of people turning up, and the meeting overrunning by about 50 minutes just shows exactly how many people want to have their opinions heard. This is Rhys Crawford reporting for TV Conway.